Make it happen. Make it happen, y'all. Ain't no but God. Look at 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 God. No worries with action. Look at her running for the Lord. Come on, girl. We see you.
Fall out.
Amen.
Woo-hoo. Catching my breath. Because I promised the Lord,
Yes.
when this journey started, that I would share my testimony. And so everywhere I have gone, and particularly in the church buildings, I usually ask if I can share.
Yes.
So there's some jewels that God has just been dropping in my spirit as I look back over the journey that my wife and I have gone through. So in the beginning, I'm not going to belabor it, but in the beginning, you all know that they diagnosed me with peritoneal carcinoma or something that actually came from, well, they simplified it and called it ovarian cancer, but I had no insides for it to attach to. But it literally started in my embryonic whatever. What we got down there? Men and women, we all are born with female organs. So, don't ignore your pain. That's all I need to tell you. Because I sat on that pain for several months thinking it was scar tissue once they took out my ovaries and my tubes. And I had no symptoms of cancer when they tested me. So what I know in the beginning, I could not eat for 2.5 months because when I went for my first chemo, I was all of a sudden, y'all, this is what's so crazy. All of a sudden, I got a pain right here. And I said, oh, let me take a pill, which usually knocks it right out. Pill didn't work. Like, it hasn't stopped. I go back to the chemo clinic area, and the nurse asked me, now, I'm gung-ho, I'm ready to get started. I ain't trying to die. So I was going to suffer through that pain, but she knew enough to say, no, something's not right. Let me go talk to the doctor. They sent me to the ER. That's how I found out I had a bowel blockage. Had they given me the chemo, it could have killed me right there. Well. But God, y'all, do you hear what I'm saying? I went through that 2.5 months of not eating because they could not operate or would have killed me. But God saw fit to start that pain right there before my session. I'm so grateful to God right now. So then the 2.5 months of not eating, then when I started to eat, it was difficult. And I couldn't walk. I didn't want to sit up for more than 5 minutes, and everybody around me was pushing me along, and I wanted to beat everybody behind. I didn't want to do it, Francis. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's like, I don't want you to die. I'm like, okay, so, but I had to decide to live.
Yes.
In that 2.5 months, y'all, I had to make a conscious decision because I thought about, well, I got to go through this. I can just die. I made a decision to live. And God helped me through that. My prayer was, God, help me do the things I need to do to live. Because I didn't want a protein soup, another bone marrow, nothing. I didn't want it. So we go through that. I had prayed, y'all. You really have to be careful what you pray for. I had prayed because I know God and I got this special relationship. I said, Lord, now I want to lose weight, but now don't make me sick. How God gonna do the whole thing and give me cancer? For real, God? So we're still talking about that. I did lose weight. I lost 50 pounds, people. And then through that chemo, they didn't think I'd live through the third chemo because of my age of 74. So they said, let's try 3 and see what happens. Then after the third one, the goal was to get me to 6 so that I could have surgery. And I'm on this real strong stuff where I had to put my feet and my hands on ice for 3 hours so it wouldn't give me, neuropathy. I have neuropathy in my feet, but not my whole foot. So I'm grateful for the half a foot.
That's right.
You know, because I can still drive. So we got to the 6th. I had the surgery in March. My surgeon opened me up. It looks like she hasn't had chemo. I had 3 surgeons. Only one went in because it didn't look like the chemo did anything. You hear me now? Well, y'all praying for me, and I know it, you know. They closed me up after an hour, so I'm thinking God worked this miracle and everything. And my wife's like, no, honey, they couldn't get it. So she got what she could. She cried to tell me that I still have the cancer. I said, I know you did everything you could. We're good. God's got me. So after that, they gave me 3 more rounds of chemo. And there was this other drug that I could have taken, well, I can take, that you have to be genetically, y'all hear me, just got approved in November, genetically compatible to. I don't know if it's a pill or intravenous, I don't know what's to come. The bottom line is I was compatible to it, but I knew I would be because I'm trusting God like that. Right. So that's in the wing. Yes. I had my 3 more rounds of chemo, and then they said, well, we're going to give you the summer off. Now, my doctor, my oncologist, not the surgeon, but the one that works in the clinic, he just keeps scratching his head. He said, oh my gosh, you're doing so well. You look so good, blah, blah, blah. I said, I told you I was going to be a miracle, didn't I? For me to walk and run across, I didn't tell. I can't say that because sometimes my balance is off. Well. But I think about when I went in the hospital in December, after the celebration for Bishop on the 18th, went back in there, my pressure was 200 over 100 and something. And I went to the hospital. I had about 5 bouts in the hospital. So we did that, and then I ended up, maybe a week or so later, I was in the hospital because I couldn't walk. I couldn't tell you my birthday. I didn't know how to get off the toilet. And my wife was like, it's too much for me. I'm going to call the ambulance, which they did. I lost time. There are things I can't tell you because I don't remember them. And I still have some of those issues, but I did get speech therapist that actually works on the cognitive stuff. And then I had a physical therapist, which I got tired of seeing. And I had an occupational therapist. So at some point I said, this is it for me, I'm done. I can do all this on my own. But I'm grateful for that because the goal was to get me strong enough to be able to get out the bed when I came from the surgery. The scar is from here to here, y'all. And I healed up in record time, and it's like I almost don't have a scar. You know what I'm saying? And that's all gone. So in the hospital in December, I had to think about whether I wanted to live again. I was in so much pain across my back. And they were bringing my medicine way too slow. But I was in there through Christmas and New Year's. And this doctor came in because they couldn't understand why I was losing my mind. This doctor came in, and you know, my sister Mary was sitting up there with me. Because also when I went in there, I had a fever. And so they had to figure out why the fever was there. But when I went, my wife called Aisha and Pam. So I'm looking on the floor in the emergency room. This had nothing to do with nothing. But I said, it sure was dirty in here. I told them girls, honey, they called the law. Y'all need to come in here and clean this room up, because they really did, and I'm really right about that thing, because it's an emergency room. I could have been in there with a lot of stuff. needless to say, and I know I fall off the wagon. But during that time period, I had to decide if I wanted to live again.
That's right.
Because I'm like, this is too much pain for anybody. And my thing that I've told my family, I don't want to suffer. I don't do that well. If I can't get a dance in or something, a praise, y'all let me go, for real. But I had to decide once again if I wanted to live. Right. Well, this tall doctor comes in I'd never seen before. And he said, my name is Dr. W. I'm with Dr. Joshi's office, where I've been going there for like at least 6 months. Never seen or heard about the man. I said to Mary, I said, that man's gonna be part of my healing. He researched, y'all, and compared my chemo session and my brain MRI. I had a couple of them. And he narrowed it down to a medicine that was in my chemo treatment. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This man saved my life and my brain, because the medicine that they were using was geared to cut off circulation to the tumors, but it was also cutting off circulation in my brain. I could have been brain dead by the time they figured that thing out. So I'm here to tell you that it can look real crazy, but if you hang on to God's hand and you just trust in God, that everything you see, no matter how crazy it looks, just know that God is working on your behalf. That is your faith. And it has to encourage somebody's heart, because things don't go the way we think they should go. Sherry, you sitting up here with a wife at home with a brain tumor for 10 years. And you never know how it's going to look, and Robin is still here. And I think about you all often. I'm trying to tell you, if I can't say anything, trust God and God's path, because you don't know what He's working out, what she's working out, what she's doing for you, and why she's doing it. So just hang in there. I still have the cancer.
Yes.
It's still there. They did a scan. They gave me 12 to 18 months. I said, well, my wife asked those kind of questions. They said, well, it's still there.
Yes.
And my wife said, well, how much? I had my last chemo session May 17th. She said, how much longer do you have? So she said, well, I would say 12 to 18 months. I said, okay, well, I'm 75. What do you think about that? Because I did plan to live at least till 90, you know. I said, well, we'll see what God has to say about that. But I figured, they said, whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it. Whatever you want to eat, go ahead and eat. And I keep saying they just told me that because they think I'm going to die real quick. But I did eat everything I could in Punta Cana. Drank everything I could too. And then I remember the next to the last day, I got the cancer. That's why my stomach's jacked up and I can't eat no more. But y'all, I'm here to tell you, my wife and I in May, we went to Florida. And after Florida, we had a lovely friend that treated us to a cruise. After the cruise, we were in Atlanta at Bishop Flunder's event for a week. And I got my shot on so hard that I tore the church up. But I was the gratefulness came from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head.
That's right.
I couldn't believe I